Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Kieran, and this is Foxoff RPG. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a video on how I solo, and it's going to be for different types of games. And it's going to be pretty straightforward, really. We have a box here, there's different cards in we're going to have a look at. You do not need to have these things, but I'm just saying this is how I do things. Different games require different, or I like to use different tools with different games for various reasons. Like some games, they don't have dungeon generation, so sometimes I will take stuff like, maybe I'll take the AD&D dungeon generation, I'll use that, or I'll use some of the cards I have in here to create dungeons. But anyway, we'll go over that now in a minute. First off, again, as always, I want to thank everyone for checking out these videos. It is amazing. It means so much to me. If you can, when you like, comment, subscribe, that helps with the channel massively as well. It's just algorithm stuff. I'm gonna, as always, leave a link for my X account, my Discord, if you want to join. It's still new, not a ton of people in it. There's a few people in it. I'm posting more and more in there myself, so if you want to talk to me or other people, you'll get a chance to do that. I'll also leave my drive-thru affiliate link. Some of this stuff you'll be able to get a drive-thru, some of it you won't. But yeah, that's it. So let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to have a mix of cards and dice. We're going to look at these three here. Now, these two here are by Pickpocket Press. And again, these came with Tales of Argoza. I got on the Kickstarter, I got the premium version. But you can get the cards on drive-thru. The dice, I'm not sure if you can still get them, but I do believe Steve Jowiski, the creator of Tales of Argoza, he is creating, I believe he's creating a box set that's going to have like a primer and a world starter and stuff like that, and other things in there. And I do believe he said he's going to be having more dice, so he's going to make the dice more available. There is an app you can get which can use these dice. Again, we'll go over that now in a few minutes. And we just have a simple D6. If you've seen my OSE video, my Gods Forbidden North video, I will use a D6. And I'll explain what all these things are. But first, we're going to have a look at a deck of signs. In my opinion, this is one of my favorite tools. I keep using it more and more and more over other cards in some cases. But let's just have a quick look. Do a quick shuffle, and we're going to draw 3 cards. Now, in Tales of Argoza, it talks about drawing 2 to 3 cards. But again, I think 3 cards is best. It's going to be the best mix of how things are going to work. So let's see what we get. And I'll explain what these cards mean, how they work. I'll explain all that, don't worry. So basically how these cards work, you have a picture, you're going to interpret it. You also have words. Like here we have earth, we have crushing, then we have desire, woeing, omen, revealing, and we have more on the bottom. You also notice there is a symbol on each of them. Actually, bring this camera down a little bit so you can see it a bit better. I have my light turned off from the camera because it does reflect off some of the stuff we'll be looking at here a lot, and it's hard to see. But yeah, so you see here there is a moon, that's light. You have a moon that's dark, and you have a sun. You also have like other symbols. You have a direction symbol on each of these cards as well. So how you do it? What you do is you're going to look at the picture, you're going to look at the words, and you're going to interpret how things work. This is great for creating encounters, mission ideas, or quests. So we have here what looks to be a witch of some sort. We have a series to be a vampire and some sort of stone golem or giant guardian. So I'm going to say, going off these pictures and these words, there is an unsettling presence that has been caused by a witch. She has cursed a woman who is infatuated with the earth. So maybe this can be interpreted as a druid. But this woman, her infatuation has caused her to become more aggressive, and she's transformed into some sort of vampire who is then trying to drain. And there's a bounty on her head. So we can interpret this as a player, because this is for both solo and normal play. It's a great creation tool. I think there's 60 cards or 50 cards in here. and each of them are different, and combine a different card together, it's going to create something different. So we basically create a mission where we do hunt down the witch, stop the woman who's sort of becoming infatuated and become essentially a vampire. Maybe our characters don't know this yet. Who's infatuated druid. Maybe this druid has damaged this witch or hurt her in some way. Maybe the druid is very old and used to be a former lover and he ditched her. Yeah. So there we have a simple little plot. I'll do another one. We have a simple quest encounter. You can also do these just for creating encounters. Let's just draw another 3 cards. Okay. We have an ent, we have a key, and we have a phoenix, and there is like phase stuff going on here. We talk about directions, the time of day or night. Again, these here, that's at the daytime. This is like the afternoon, and then that's at night. That's essentially how it is. So you can pretty much determine how that is as DM, as you wish, or a solo player. So we have cleansing, we have renewal, we have burnt, we have a phoenix. Again, we have the day, we have a daytime symbol. We have a direction. We have an opening. We have a key, intrinsic, expedite. Again, more sun. We have fey. We have playing, misleading, and calpsurus. So anyway, we can use this to sort of determine how we can create maybe a mission again. So I'm going to say there is a key that needs to be unlocked. There's a key that needs to be found. This key will unlock something in the forest. It's going to be a fey item. This fey item will then be able to help the phoenix, which is damaged. And in it, the phoenix is not able to renew itself. It's not able to burn up and reborn. So instead, it's burning the land. So this key, it doesn't have to be a literal key. It can be some sort of magic item which will then help the phoenix to renew its life, and instead of burning down the forest and the villages, it will bring back its prosperity to the land. That's a cool way to play or come up with a quest. So this is why I love these cards. You can interpret them any way, and like you can interpret the same cards several ways, and each person is going to come up with a different idea. So basically, the more if you are into fantasy a lot, that's obviously meant more for fantasy, but the more you're into, the more you're going to know, and maybe the more ideas might be spark things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the dice. We've looked at these before on the channel, but we're going to go into a bit more detail here. So we have our 2 dice here. These are our yes and no symbols. These are going to be the main sort of dice we have here. So then we also have our judgment dice. I'll explain what that is in a minute. So essentially, let's say we have a yes and a no symbol. This judgment dice will basically overrule. So say we roll a yes on this, it overrules the no, and we have a yes. But if both of these are yeses and this comes down, we have a yes again. But if they're all yeses, it's going to be a stronger yes. So you can sort of determine how strong or implied things are by the amount of the same symbol coming up. We then have this black dice. You'll see it has blanks. These also have blanks, but the judgment die never has blanks. So on a blank, it's not going to add any extra thing to the roll. On this symbol, it's a good fortune symbol. So maybe something happens, but also it leads to something good. But then the skull is a negative symbol. So we'll have an idea what this is in a minute. And this is our social dice. It's great. You have different symbols, like you have a food symbol. That can be used for anything. It can be used for, maybe they're hunting, maybe they're eating, maybe they're after finish eating, maybe they're just hungry people. We have a shovel dice. This could be used for exploration. They're coming across people, maybe they're digging, maybe they're searching for something. Something's wrong. They need help with something, they look for something. A combat symbol that doesn't mean you have to fight. That means maybe they finished up a combat, maybe the people are on edge. Again, it's all up to interpretation. Plus with these dice here, I'll show you how that works in a minute. And then we have a foot symbol. Again, that could be people walking, they're traveling somewhere, they need to get to somewhere they can't get to, or anything else you can think of. And the fire symbol. That'd be people who are tired, they're resting, they're sitting down, maybe they're cooking. It could be anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll our dice. So let's say we come across a crossroads and we find just off to one side we see a group of 5 characters. So how are we going to determine what's going on? Okay. This is used for both, again, solo and normal play, which is great. So we're going to ask a question. It's going to be a basic question. Are these people hostile? That's all we're going to ask. So we have a no, a yes, and a judgment, which is yes. So basically we have, yes, these are very hostile people. We have a blank, which means it has no negative or positive effect on it. But also has here, maybe they are hungry or they're eating. Let's say, we're going to say they're hungry. So they're hostile people, they're hungry. Maybe that means they're weakened. Maybe they're not as powerful as they could be, and they're desperate. Maybe that's why they're hostile. Maybe they're hostile because they're desperate and hungry. Or maybe they're just brigands who want more food to take what you have. There's lots of ways you can interpret things. I'm also going to do another one. But we're not going to use this one. You'll see why. So let's say we come into a room in a dungeon and we see a chest. Okay. One of the characters walks up to open the chest, and me as a DM or a solo player, I'm going to ask, is this treasure chest trapped? We have a blank, we have a no, and we have a yes. So in this case, what will happen is this will overrule the no to a yes. So it is trapped, and it's a blank, which means it's not going to be like it's super negative. It's just going to be maybe a normal basic trap. So maybe it's going to be a simple dart or something like that. So it's not going to be like poisonous gas, which then you need to roll on for like a chart to make sure your characters don't die. So I would roll something like that if we got like this sort of roll. 3 yeses. It'd be like it's very deadly. It's a very bad poisonous trap. Or if we got, say, a star or a sun symbol with this, we could say with the same roll of a yes. We'll say, yes, it is trapped, but it's a good thing. The trap has now been corroded away or it's damaged. But if you touch it in the wrong way, it could still go off. So there's lots of ways you can use this. You can use these for encounters, for asking simple yes or no questions. Again, these are Oracle dice, and these are Oracle cards. Absolutely amazing. Again, these are both by Pickpocket Press. I love them. They're becoming more and more common in my games. Which are great for reaction rolls as well, if you wish. Say if you don't want to use the normal reaction rolls or in a game, because there are also some games which don't really have reaction rolls. So this is a great opportunity to add these in. Again, with other games, you often have a reaction roll of 2d6, and it's going to have a chart. Like a Shadowdark, we have a 2d6 roll plus charisma level to determine things. So, or charisma bonus, I mean. So now we're going to talk about the simple d6. That's all it is. A simple, plain ass d6. There's nothing fancy about it. And how I use this in games where it doesn't give me, like in OSE, it doesn't really give you a chart or how to determine DC checks. If you want to, you can just come up with it. But I like to use this because I find it quick, simple, and easy, and it does not require any too much thought. When I play solo games, I am very nervous. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. I freak out a little bit. I'm always conscious of how I am appearing on the screen, because when I play, sometimes I might go like this, and I might mute myself, like go down too low, because I'm just in my own world. So I'm being more conscious of that. I also, when I'm playing on camera, I do find I have a thing of not explaining things well sometimes. Again, that's from nervousness and trying to keep track of what I'm doing and make sure I'm not being too boring. So sometimes you'll notice I'll explain something twice or I'll over explain things. Sometimes that might lead me to not explaining things very well. So in the last game of Gods of the North, we had some stuff go on, and we had a potion. We already determined the potion was a potion of longevity, but our characters did not know this. So then towards the end, I was like, okay, we're going to see if we can determine what this potion is for our characters, so they know. So how I will use a d6 is I'm going to look at my attributes. So say again, I'll use the potion, the exact same thing, longevity potion, the exact same thing of how it works. So I'll look at the item or the thing I'm trying to do, and I'll look at my character class. Is this something my character can do? So say if it's like jump across a short ledge, you don't need to roll across that. But say if it's a big chasm, a fighter with a higher strength is going to have a better chance of jumping across that chasm than a wizard with low strength. Same goes with identifying potions. A wizard is going to be more likely or more inclined to know how to determine a potion. So I look at my character sheet, and that means I have an automatic 1 to my roll, which means if I roll a d6 and I roll a 1, that means I identify it. Simple, straightforward. Then I also have some skills and stuff I've taken from Rules Encyclopedia, and my character Lemway, the wizard, magic user, he had a point. He's the skill of alchemy. So now in a 2 and 6, I'll roll. I can identify it. I also had magical engineering, and I thought it was magic, detect magic skill, but it wasn't. But we rolled a 2 anyway, so we got it, and I actually gave myself basically a 50% chance. Again, I was mistaken, but we rolled a 2, so that did not matter. So there we go. That's basically how it works. But then you're like, well, what if it's a high level item? Very good answer. Good question. Simple answer is, if it's a higher level item, by how high it is, I will reduce the dice. So let's say we had a +3 for, maybe we had a detect magic. We're going to pretend we had detect magic. But then we say the item was a high level item. It was like a level 5 or level 6 type item. This then becomes down to 1. And it's only there because we have our magic user level. But how I also roll is if my character level also determines things. So say if I was a level 3 to 4, you're just going to get your base 1 from your character. If you're a 5 to 8, you're going to have a +2, and anything above 8, you're going to have a +3. You can also add your attribute points. So if you had a +1 in your intelligence and it was related to the thing you're trying to do, you'll add that as well. So we're going to have like a +5. But then again, you have to take into account the difficulty of the item we're trying to do, because we could then get that marked down to a 50% chance on a +3. So it's very simple. So again, we're going to say we have our magic user level 1. We're trying to identify the potion. That's a 1. We have alchemy. Then we have a 2. So we're going to roll a d6. We roll a 1. We identify the potion. Simple. This goes with everything. We're going to jump across a chasm. We are a wizard. We have low strength. So we just have a 1 because we are able to walk. Our legs aren't crippled. We just have a 1. We have low strength. The chasm is it's decent point far away, but it's not too bad. We're going to say we have a 2 and 6 to get across the chasm. But that was a fighter. Maybe the fighter has a 4 and 6 because his character class is a fighter. He's naturally more powerful, more strong, and more agile. Okay, that's a +1 for the fighter. Say he has a +1 in strength, or +2 in strength even. We'll say +2. That then becomes a 2. It becomes a 3, I mean. But then say we have some of the skills from Rules Encyclopedia. Maybe he has a mountaineering skill. Maybe he has some rope, some other stuff like that. That becomes a 4. So we're going to roll. He rolls a 4. He succeeds. He jumps across. He still has the rope attached to him. And now he can pin it down and make it like a way for other characters to get across a lot easier. And ties it off. So now our wizard, who was a 1, now has the bonus of having the mountain gear in place in the rope. We now have a +3. Like we said, the chasm is big enough that it's going to be difficult to jump across, but it's not going to be so big where we're going to be getting into negative points. So then we have a +3 to roll. We roll a 4. We are not able to get across, so we're crawling across the rope. We're using it, and we start to slip. And then we can determine how far down it is. If we take falling damage, Does he fall and land on a cliff, on an edge cliff somewhere, on a tree, anything like that? So that's how I use a simple D6. It's straightforward. It's easy. Again, I'll use this in systems where it does not give some definitive ACs for stuff. Again, I do use this for OSE, and it's simple and straightforward. When I did it on camera, I was trying to explain things. I didn't explain it very well, so I think I explained it a lot better there. So if you want to use that, use it. If you don't need to. It's just something I do. I find useful and I enjoy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some cards. So I'll take out some cards here that I like, and I will explain what they are and how I use them. So I will cut back in now in a minute. Hey guys, I'm back, and we're going to have a look here at called Outdoor Encounter cards. These are by Philip Reed. As you can see, it says Outdoor Encounter cards, and this is Outdoor Encounter cards 4. I have 4 decks, each of 36 cards. These are PDFs I got, and I got them printed on cardstock, and I got them sent to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a few examples of what these are. Do I have anything on this one, actually? Oh, it just tells you how to use them. So these are a great way to add a mix-up to your game. So let's say if you come across a point of interest in a game, or you just want to have something different happen and you don't want to have to roll, or maybe the system you're using doesn't really have stuff for hex crawling and traveling in terms of what could show up. These are great cards to use. So I'm just going to have a look at 2 or 3 of these here. So the first one here is called Castle Runes. And this is what it says. What could go wrong when exploring the ruins of a forgotten castle? Whether magic or whether magic, nature, or war, something battered this castle into the mass ruins you see today. Vagabonds inside have come together to share information and food. So this can be used as a point of interest for characters to find information gatherers of the local world, the environment, and what's going around it. Maybe they want to explore the castle. It could be a thieves guild hideout or something like that. Again, this is all up to interpretation, some of this stuff. Some of these are going to be physical encounters you're going to have with people, where you might have combat. Some are going to be places you can go to. They're absolutely brilliant. I love them. Let's have a look down to another one here. Hobgoblin Fighter. So you surprise the hobgoblin and may take an action before the creature can react. Do you surprise attack, or do you take a friendly approach and seek to talk with the monster? Now with something like this, I would look up the hobgoblin like stats and see how many should show up, or base on your character levels to determine how many would be there. So maybe it's going to be a venturing party of hobgoblins. We're going to look through another one over here. A Dragon Folk Knight. And again, with these sort of cards, you want to go through them and pick out the ones that are going to work in your world. Because, like, again, some people are not going to have lizard people in their games. So a Dragon Folk Knight. Again, it gives you a little blurb about it's a heavy armored, taller than most humans. Dragon Folk Knight, step to the side as you approach. The knight tells you that he needs allies to help stop a demon who attacks his village. He says the village is not far away. So this again could be an opportunity for you to go on a quest. It could be an opportunity for maybe the dragon folk to betray you. He's a liar. You don't know. It could be... This can all be used to plant essentially ideas of what could happen in a game. Again, maybe the players want to keep going down this path. They want to know who attacked it. Say they go there to beat the folk who attacked the village. Maybe they want to know more about who this person or group of creatures are. And that could lead into a quest that lasts maybe a game or two, maybe a month. You don't know. This is why I like it, especially with group play. It just adds different things to the game. You have Wizard Labs, Mutated Crazy. You have Vacant Home, Into the Earth, Temple Runes, Dragon Vial, Orc Assault, Dungeon Veteran, Insane Wizard. Like, again, there's 36 of these in each deck. So you're not exactly going to be looking for. You're not going to be short on variety, which is great. And again, you will obviously want to go through these and pick the ones that are going to work for your game or your system or your world the best. Again, if you don't have like dragon folk, dragon people, lizard people, whatever you want to call them, if you don't have that in your game, don't put that one in. Or you can just draw and say it's a human that needs your help. You know, you can just change things on the fly. It's very simple, very straightforward. But again, still, cards like these are amazing. I love them. They're lots of fun, and they're a great way to add, again, more variety and lightens the load on the GM, especially if you're a little burnt out, or maybe you like to prep a little bit and you didn't have time. Again, it's a great way to do that. Same with these cards. Again, when we looked at the dice, I use these dice more and more, and these cards are brilliant. Again, interpretation. You can also have it so the players can interpret the card as well. So I'll have a look at some more cards now, and yeah, I'll talk to you all again in a minute. Alright guys, and I'm back again. So this time we're having a look at a deck of old school encounters. I believe this deck has 50 cards in it, and there's 3 decks in total here. Again, these are going to work with any old school OSR, AD&D type game, or OD&D type game even. And they're going to be very simple, straightforward. Again, look, it's 1d6 plus 3 bandits. They're hostile, they demand heroes, they surrender valuables. 2d4 frog folk. We'll go down a bit more. You have a giant weasel, 1d8. And some are going to be hostile encounters, some are going to be non-hostile, like we have a cleric. A cleric asks for help transforming a wagon load of food to a distant village. So this is going to be something different, especially if, again, I use these cards and those other cards we just looked at a second ago with castles and crusades, and they work so well. And I picked the cards out that I thought that I would want in my world. We have cultists here, carrion crawlers, like there's lots of stuff. And not all encounters have to be hostile. You have werewolves, orcs, stringers, giant scorpions, centaurs, friendly. She asks for party to help clear a cemetery of zombies. There you go. You just have a quest straight away. You're going along in a hex crawl, and boom, friendly encounters. Scared hunter. He begs the players to protect him from 1d4 ghosts start chasing him. Wounded paladin. He's friendly. He needs aid. He warns the party of 3d4 bandits chasing him. These are very simple cards. You can use these with those other cards we looked at before, to sort of create an encounter or something that's going on in the world, if you wish, or if you want to use oracle dice. You know, I just think these are just simple, straightforward cards, straightforward, easy to use. And again, all these cards we're looking at are dirt cheap. They're a $5. You know, that's it, $5. So they're very cheap, very affordable. That's just for the PDFs. If you want to get the cards, you can get the cards. The reason why I didn't get the cards and I printed them off myself on the cardstock, I got them printed off, is because I live in Ireland. If I get cards printed, they're all coming from the US. And each deck is, I think, it depends on the deck, but they're usually like, I think it's like 18 or 20 euro, which is not a big deal, which is fine. But the shipping, each time you add a deck in, the shipping goes up by like 15 euro. So the shipping, or 20 euro, so the shipping alone is going to be almost the same price or more. But yeah, I'll have a look at some more cards. And we're back. So these ones are classic dungeon encounters. I haven't used these ones too much. Generally because when I want to get in a dungeon, I kind of know what I'm doing when I get in there. Again, if we're using the deck of science, or we're using other systems, but these do add a little something extra if you want a bit of a change. So there's going to be 2 sides to each card. That's how I packed them in. So yeah, so we're just going to look at 1 or 2 of these cards so we can get an idea what they are. Greetings, a fiendish foe. Greetings, the dynamic being says as it rests on the throne crafted of dead bodies. The demon says it doesn't wish to fight, but is willing to share secrets of the dungeon if you can pay the knowledge if you can pay for the knowledge with tales of your exploits. If the demon is unhappy with your storytelling skins, he grows bored and attacks. So you can basically bargain with a demon here, and maybe he'll tell you what you're looking for, or where exactly it is. Maybe he'll map it out for you if you can satisfy his needs, or maybe he's a dirty lion demon and he will attack you anyway. Again, there's going to be two sizes, the way I have it packed in into the slots here, or the sleeves. And we'll just have a look at one or two more after this. So, the cultists. Wearing a strange mask and flanked by 3d4 other robed cultists, the crazed worshipper of a cosmic being attacks with spells. The cultist companions attack with swords, seeking to protect their leader from meddling interference. Why is the cultist leader now opening a red tome? So now you have a bit of a plot point in a combat situation in a dungeon, and then maybe your characters, if they beat this, they can investigate further, or maybe they retreat because they're already weak and they're getting their asses kicked. Again, stuff like this is just, it's going to add a little something extra, and it's good for lazy DMs or solo players if you're looking for something to add something extra to your games. Here we go. I'll read one more here. So it has a wall of jagged teeth. A large portal inset into one of the chambers. Walls is rigged with hundreds of dagger-like jagged teeth. The portal closes and opens every few moments, as if the stone ringed openings in the wall. In the wall is a mouth seeking to sink its teeth into anyone. If you remain in this room for too long, you may be surprised when the portal turns out to be the massive maw of a giant worm-like stone golem, it is not a picky eater. So, again, you have basically a trapped room situation, but it's not really a trapped room, and that's going to depend on what your players do and how they act. So we're going to have a look at one more set of cards, which I think will be good. I do have more cards, but they're not really... They're sort of treasure cards, and it's just basically instead of rolling on a chart, you just pick a card out, and there you go. You get your items. So I'll just get these other cards out, and we have a look. And here we go, guys. We're back, and we have maps. These are cool. These are actually from Terra Natalis, or Terra Natalis, I mean. An Alex T. Blackoath Entertainment game, and. I backed on Kickstarter. I got all the cards as well. I got everything, and I printed these off. Now I actually ordered recently more sleeves. I don't have enough, so I actually have this map cards double sided. There's 100. I think there's 100 cards in total, and they're split into two types of cards. You have maps, like room cards. And you have corridor cards. So I'm just going to take out a few here, and I'll show you what I mean. So again, you would draw these out randomly, and we see what we get. And there's a quick example of a simple dungeon. It took 2 seconds. I just grabbed the top cards I had there. But there's great variety in the cards. I'll show you what some of them are now, actually. But you have corridor cards and you have room cards, which is great. Give me 1 sec. So here are some of the corridor cards. They're the ones we looked at already. They're all different shapes, different sizes, and lead to different places. I've used these with different systems, and again, I have backsides to them because just the way I didn't have enough sleeves at the time. But yeah, like these are great. They're awesome. I've used these with Castles and Crusades quite a bit, when I was playing it for my review, and I'm going to keep playing it. I do like it. So you have different size rooms, shapes, what's in them. I mean, what you could put in them. Again, these were for Cara Natalis. Like a room like this would be great to open up in. You go into your dungeon and this is the first thing you see. You come in from one of the entrances, and then you have 3 other rooms you could explore. Maybe they're going to be corridors, they're going to lead into other rooms, and so on. And it's great, it's handy, it's simple. I've actually used these a few times with Shadowdark, and what I mean by that is I would use the Shadowdark rules to roll out how many rooms and all that stuff are there, and then I would shape it with these cards. Yeah, it's simple, fun, straightforward, easy to do, does not require any real time, and it's easy to do on the fly. You don't need to draw anything out. If you don't want it, you can easily, of course. But the reason why I use these, it just creates a map. And there is a lot of games where they don't actually have map creation tools or dungeon creation tools, which, you know, is often my criticism of games is hex crawl stuff is they don't have a way to generate. Like, okay, we're going to go into this hex, then what does it lead into and into another hex, you know, or in other cases is there's no dungeon generation tools, and this is a generation tool. It's simple, straightforward, easy to use. So there you go. Yeah. Like I said, I have used it with Shadowdark, and it's generally because Shadowdark has the rules to create the dungeons, and they're really good, really well, but it doesn't actually give details. So here it shows you how many squares it takes up. So you've got your hex grid paper. There you go, you can see it better. You can say how many squares across they are and so forth. But yeah, that's just if you want like a normal standard dungeon. Yeah, that's the video, guys. So I just want to go over that, and that's just some of the stuff I use and that I think you guys might like. Might be useful. Again, we have the Oracle dice. We have the different sorts of cards. We have the cards we have in here for encounters, outdoor encounters, to add a bit more variety. Again, especially with games that don't have these sort of systems in place, it just helps, and it takes the load off the DM. Again, and our simple Oracle or simple dice I use for OSE or other similar systems that don't really give you DC checks for things, and you don't want to have to look up from other games, other systems. That's just something I do. It's very simple, very straightforward. It takes 2 seconds to figure everything out. Like, okay, there you go, roll, boom, and I failed. But yeah, that's it, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in. I will leave a link in the description where you can find all or most of this stuff. Again, the only thing I'm not sure you'll be able to find is the Oracle dice. But there is an app for it, so I will link that. But yeah, that's been awesome. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything you want me to look at in the future, I will try to have a look at as soon as I can. It might take a few weeks because I have a lineup of a lot of stuff. But yeah, this is it. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.